What is up, YouTube? Today we're going to be reviewing Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Scrapper. I am really excited for this review, actually, as I have said already so much in the past. I just smacked the mess out of my tripod. Dadgummit. Anyways, though, today we are going to be reviewing Voyager Class Scrapper. And, as I already previously stated, I am super excited for this review. It's been a little bit since I posted on the channel. I believe my last video was, 2 months ago, which is definitely not a healthy life cycle for the channel. This is not good. But I'm going to try to get back on it, and we're going to start back with a review. So, let's go ahead and go to a little bit of story about this guy before I review said guy. I'm going to fix his foot real quick, because that's bothering my OCD. There he is. So, basically though, I don't know if you're seeing this video, I recommend go back and check my post out. I had made a previous judgment about this character before I actually bought him. And, you know, I saw some images, some new leaked stuff like that of the 86 Devastator. And a huge problem that I had with the Devastator is the backpack. See, my thing is this, is that with the math and everything behind it, it's going to be like $220 by the time you're done with it. $230 most likely USD. And this is before shipping and handling, which is what I said in the post. So something that really bothered me was the fact that Devastator had a huge backpack, which I've seen some people say, oh, it's accurate, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It still bothers me, because that's a very pricey figure. That's very expensive, that not a lot of people can afford. But I guess it's a combiner, so, you know, you are kind of signing up to spend a little bit of money when you're buying a combiner. So, while originally I did absolutely judge the price of it, I did inherently say this was a scam, I'm going to see if I was wrong. I'm going to collect the combiner, I'm going to try to finish Devastator, because obviously, I'm not going to lie, I dropped out of a couple of the pre-orders because I did not want to spend the money. But I saw Scrapper here in Walmart, and I decided to pick him up. So far, I may have been wrong about Scrapper. Genuinely, I've seen a lot of people have a lot of mixed opinions about this guy. My opinion is that he's worth the Voyager price point. If he could go on sale, that'd be great. But spending what I had was $38 on him, I do not regret spending that $38, and that's saying a lot, because I was a person that was definitely anti-Devastator when they first revealed these things, and definitely anti-Scrapper. But after messing with him, there was a lot of things that were modified. There was a lot of things that were taken from the original CW version, which I don't have the Combiner Wars. I don't have the Combiner Wars anything. I don't have Scrapper. I don't have any of the Constructicons. So we are going primarily on this and word of mouth. Basically, the mechanics of it are about the same almost. There's a lot of things that are taken from the Combiner Wars, but just done better. It's basically a smaller version of Combiner Wars from what it looks like, with better articulation, better paint in my opinion. I think the color on this is a whole lot better than the original Combiner Wars. I think the purple's nicer, I think the silver is nicer, and the green is a whole lot closer to what we see in the movie. And I like it. My girlfriend and I were actually talking about it, and I was showing it to her, and something that she mentioned was that she didn't like the green. And, you know, I for one, do like the green. I think that it very reminiscent of the 80s. I think it fits well in with the movie and the time period that it was in, that it's just this bright green. It's there. You see it. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. And I think on a shelf where primarily Transformers today are black and gray and dark red and all these muted colors, I think it's nice to have a Decepticon that's not black or gray or primarily purple. Having one that's this color, I think it's sick. So, that's a little bit of the story. Is basically, I'm going to collect these regardless, because I want to see if I was wrong. So far, I was wrong about Scrapper. We'll see if I was wrong about the other ones. So, let's talk about the Voyager price point for this guy. Is he worth it? Is the height difference... Like, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. This is a deluxe class Perceptor that I got a while back. And so far, you can tell that, yes, the deluxe class Perceptor is taller than Scrapper. Absolutely. But, here's the thing also. Perceptor has a lot of issues with him. Has a lot of issues with this mold, I think. It's mostly perfect. But there's just a couple of issues that bother me. And it's the fact that a gigantic gap in the back, gaps in the arm, and there's a lot of problems with this mold right here that I think. A whole lot of things. Pretty good though. I'm content with it to be Perceptor. I didn't really care for Perceptor anyway, so I don't really care if this figure is not perfect or not. Not a big deal. But as you can see, this is a deluxe class that is taller than the Voyager class, and so there's that. But I do have to say, the plastic on this feels a whole lot better than the plastic on this. And Perceptor was a really good feeling Transformer. I mean, he was solid. The ball joints were tight. I mean, this was definitely a nice figure, and I will say this. I do like ball joints because they very quickly become universal joints, but Scrapper here does not have any ball joints, which is good for the stability of the figure. Everything is mushroom pegged and pinned in. There's nothing that's ball joint related, which I love because ball joints over time tend to get a little bit weaker. Like Perceptor over here, in about a year, he will most likely start getting a little bit loose in this section, and most likely these sections also. This guy has a lot of pinned in places, so this right here, this will last a very, very long time. And even these mushroom pegs right here, they're double pegs, as you can see, and they are very nice and tight. They are not going anywhere for a very, very long time. So, yes, he's very small for a Voyager class, but he's chunky. I mean, a lot of plastic is going into this. This is completely like this palm plastic, so this stuff right here is thick. It is solid and dense, and the back of it is detailed and all finished in, and we'll go ahead and go down the legs of it later, but the side of the arms are not flat at all like Bone Crushers are. Very detailed, and I love the way that they did the arms. The arms look so good, I think. And now, one problem I have with it is that this little area is not filled in. I would have loved if there could have been like a little arm panel here, but it's okay, whatever. From certain angles, this bothers me. Because of the fist being this light green and this being empty, the fist can almost get lost in detail. So having him hold a gun like this, like let's just give him, also this is what his gun looks like. Pretty okay mold. Got a tab on that side, I think on that side. It looks pretty good. So giving him a gun on this side looks a little bit goofy because it looks like that his fist is just kind of there. I don't like that. And then this area doesn't bother me because this doesn't make me feel like this is hollow. This feels like it's on purpose down here. That doesn't really bother me. This kind of gets me. From certain angles, this can look kind of bad, but again, it's all green, so it's not really that big of a deal. It doesn't really bother me too much, and because of the way that it transforms, I get it. I wish that there could have been something to fill this in, at least, because the way that the arm bends in, you could have definitely filled this in, and I feel like that would have made the arm look a whole lot better. But otherwise, he's very well filled in. There's one spot that bothers me, and it's maybe the back of the legs, but even then, this is not that bad. Because one, you don't really need this for transformation. I don't know why this is not filled in. I don't think you need this for transformation. We'll go ahead and see when we get back into it. But as you can see, this interior area is actually detailed. They have a lot of little mechanical pieces in there, and I love that because it makes it seem like it was done on purpose. And as you can tell, there's some mechanical pieces right there. Like these knees are not ratcheted, by the way, so those aren't little ratchets. Those are actual details. The thighs are super detailed, all casted in the silver, which does not get lost in the silver itself. They did a really good job at picking out these details. The arms are just really cool, seeing this little ladder come up. The chest, I think, is amazing. That silver with the glossy black, man. The paint job on this guy, a lot of people have been complaining about how little paint he has. I think he has a perfect amount of paint in the perfect places to avoid scratching. I, for one, really do enjoy it. So, before we get on to the figure itself, in its articulation, let's get on to its accessories. So, it comes with these two blasters, and this is how it comes packaged. You have this gun right here, which is just not painted at all, just decked out in this purple plastic. Doesn't look bad by any means, but, you know, at the end of the day, just a purple gun. Then this thing, which, I don't know, it looks like some kind of, like, I don't know. I don't know what this looks like. This thing just looks weird looking. Reminds me of, like, I can't think of it. There's another Transformer that has a gun that looks like that. But this is how it looks when you put it in his hand. You got this one, which this one looks actually pretty good with Scrapper. I like this one. And then, because of the way that you have a 5mm port right there, little peg right there, you can actually stick the gun onto the side, and yes, it can fit into his hand. Which, having him decked out with these two big old guns, I think is pretty cool, and he looks pretty cool having them on his hands. So, that's his accessories, and then also, let's go ahead and move him back a little bit. you might have noticed when I did pull these up that these guns actually do combine, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be Devastator's blaster, which so far that looks pretty sick. And comparing him to Perceptor, it's about as tall as Perceptor actually, just about a head shorter. So this would be a pretty good sized gun for Devastator. Wish the handle was a little bit thicker, because even with a Voyager class, the clearance for it's kind of a pain in the side. So I wish the handle was just a little bit thicker. But we'll see what Devastator's hands looks like. So far pretty cool. Now, I will say this. I don't know if this is going to be everybody's problem, but this most certainly was mine. This right here was way too thick. This hole was way too small. And I believe that you can actually see it a little bit. Yes, you can. Hold on. There it is. You can see right there that there was a little bit of a stress mark. I recommend that genuinely before you can see where I did this, before you start messing with this thing, file this little tab down so that this will give it enough room. I filed it down, and it's perfectly fine. It's not falling off. It's not gonna, oh, yeah, unless you're doing that. See? Otherwise, it's completely fine. It's not gonna be something where you swing it and it falls off. I recommend just kind of giving it a little bit of a file down, because otherwise you're going to end up stressing this out, and I was terrified I was going to break this. Now, you do want to be careful, because there's a clip right there that it doesn't plug into the gun by any means. Right there. There it is. It doesn't tap into the gun, but it goes between these things right here so that the barrel isn't sliding around, which I think is a really cool addition. So, that's going to be Devastator's gun. Now, let's go ahead and disassemble all this and put the accessories to the side and go back to Scrapper. So, we went over the mold and all that. Now, I want to go over articulation. So, at the head, it is on a ball joint, but a very limited one at that. You can look a little bit up, and technically, because of the way he transforms, you can get a little bit more. Just the smallest smidgen. Just a little bit more, if you do it like that. So that's okay. I don't mind. I wish it could have looked up a little bit more, but not the end of the world. And then, can't look down any. I guess you could kind of fake it, like that. You can kind of fake it looking down. It's just, he's just going to be staring into his own neck cavity, though, so I would recommend not doing that. And then, you do get a little bit of a head tilt, and a full 360, which back of the head's detailed, side of the head's detailed. And let me just talk about that head sculpt for a second. I love that head sculpt, man. I love the Constructicons look. And that is it for the head. Now, the arms okay, so when you do pull this out of the package, his arms will come collapsed in. Let me go ahead and pull this down. His arms will come in collapsed like that, which doesn't look bad by any means, but it limits his articulation a little bit, and it's just kind of frustrating to get around, and even then, it's like you can't really get it around that easy. So, what you really want to do is make sure to pull on this and get that joint out until it snaps in here in the back. Right there. Same thing for this side. As you can see, you're just going to want to go like that and snap that joint back. And then the arms will be a little bit farther away from the body, like that. That's how I'm going to do mine, because it helps with his articulation, and I think it makes him look better, makes him look a little bit wider. And so that's what I'm doing with my Scrapper. And it helps with the articulation going up. His arm going up that much, which is really nice. His arm go all the way around. You just got to go around the backpack a little bit. He has a very tight 90 at the elbow, and it can also go about 90 backwards, which is nice. You do have a bicep swivel, like so. You do have no wrist articulation apart from going in and out due to transformation. Now, this is what I thought was really cool, is that he has a backwards butterfly swivel and a frontwards butterfly swivel. Now, this was something that they actually added just for his articulation. This is not needed for combined mode, this is not needed for the vehicle mode, and this is most certainly not needed for the bot mode. They added this just for articulation, which is awesome, because you can really get some cool poses because of the way that the shoulders work. Crossing his arms is no problem. You can put a lot of attitude behind that pose right there just because you can bend his shoulders like that. I, for one, love that, because it's a butterfly joint that they worked in there, they didn't have to, so I'll take it. Now, let's go ahead and move his arms up real quick. Sadly, there is no waist swivel because of the way that he does his combined mode, but if we look at it real quick, I might be able to see it from here. I don't know if we can see it from there or not. No, we can't. So basically, the way that the waist swivel right here works is that this entire section is one piece. All of this is one piece, and it's meant to be the ankle tilt. So it's actually going to, see, like that. This whole piece moves up and shifts around this to be the ankle tilt of the combined mode. So they really could not have fit a waist swivel, and even if they did, I do not think that they could have made the ankle tilt as tight as it is, so I'm willing to sacrifice a waist swivel. Now, you do have that little bit of articulation you want to do and have a little bit of a surfing thing, but only in that direction, and that way, and that little waist tilt, whatever it is very tight, by the way. Now, again, no waist swivel, but legs can go up about that high. They can go back about that much. Backpack doesn't get in the way too bad. He can do the full splits. He can do a 90 there. He can do a full-on ankle tilt and toe bend, which is very, very nice. So, on that note, Scrapper, although not having a waist joint, is actually very poseable. He's one of the few Decepticons that can actually just, I don't know, he's chunky looking, he's solid looking, but he poses so well. He's one of the few Transformers recently that I have just been able to pick up and not put down. Like, he is just sick looking. And the waist swivel does not get in the way that bad. So, now, let's get on to transformation, because this is already a too long a review. Obviously, I'm just going to be honest, I have not done a review in a hot minute, so I don't know how to keep my words short now. It's bad. So, let's go ahead and start with the transformation. First thing you want to do is that you're just going to want to fold in the hands like so. This transformation is very simple, honestly. You want to flip open this chest cavity and put down the head. Love how the head fills up the chest, by the way. That's just so satisfying. And go ahead and do that. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to go ahead and pull this over and pull the bucket all the way over and snap it in that, like so. And we're just going to do this. And then, just so it's not moving around too much, let's go ahead and do this, which is meant for combined mode, but I do that for my vehicle mode because I'm not playing with this part too much. So, now, right here, this is where the transformation gets a little bit cool. You're going to want to flip this up and separate this from this. So you have two parts going on, two individual hinges. And you're going to want to take the toe bend right here and just bend it backwards, like so. Same thing for this side. Pick it up, flip it under, like so. You want to take these pieces right here, tab them like that. And then you're going to want to make sure that this is pointing this way. That's what the instructions say. And pick this assembly right here and put it over. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. This area could have been a little bit filled out, but because of the way that this right here goes inside the cavity, you did kind of have to have an empty space, and I can see why. So now you're going to do that, and you're just going to set that over that. That's going to tab in pretty securely. And then you're going to take in this bottom segment right here, and this right here is going to tab into that. And shabloosh, and shabloosh. That side's done. Then you're going to fold the arms up on a 90-degree angle, arms up on a 90-degree angle, and you're going to want to tab this right here, that, into that, and this into this, while also pushing in this previous butterfly joint. And just like that, you have the vehicle mode after I figure out what I did wrong. So a little bit of heads up, this may open up on you occasionally, and you want to be careful to make sure that the butterfly joints are all the way in, and everything should be fine and dandy. And it is fine and dandy. And there is the vehicle mode. Get a good spin out of him real quick. Wheels are pinned on, got a lot of details right there. Love how this area looks, so you can do it you can get this much out of the bucket. And if you untab this right here, you can get even more out of le bucket. So you can get as much bucket movement as you want. You can have him wearing a hat. Pretty solid, actually. I love the way this looks for my... I needed to get the Studio Series Scrapper comparison, but I'll try to post photos later if I can. Love the details on it. And I will say this, something that I loved about the G1 vehicles is that the Decepticon symbol did not appear on the Decepticon modes very often. I loved that because it actually felt like that they were hiding a little bit at least. So I like for this Constructicon that you don't see the Decepticon symbol in the vehicle mode. It actually feels like you can set it off into the background and say, you know, that's a vehicle. So I just like that. As I said, pinned on wheels, which is nice silver. You can see some silver details because of the thighs. Got a ladder heading up to this. The little cab right here is decked out in some window details. This thing is just really cool. That's what the front looks like. This is where the head was located. I could see these being like little light bulbs. These are really cool. Underside looks really nice. And you are fine with this area down here. This silver is not touching the ground at all. You're not scratching paint, and even the Decepticon logo, as far as I'm concerned, should be okay. It might be a little bit too close. So basically, if you just don't like running them across the table like a mouse. And that is it for vehicle mode. So now let's get into combined mode. Well, actually, before we do that, let me show you the weapon storage. You have a tab right here, hole right here in the gun. You can plug in the gun on that side, and you can plug in, dropping guns, and you can tab in the gun right here. Then you can take in the 5mm gun if you want to, and plug it in the side, and shabloosh, shabloosh, shabloosh. You have a 3 shablooshing car. There you go. Now, I am running out of time here, because I've been talking way too long. Let's get into foot mode. So, it's a very complicated transformation. So complicated, in fact, that I'm not even going to give steps for it, because that's how complicated it is. Trust me, it's one of the most overwhelming transformations in this world, beating that of Masterpiece. I mean, it is more than Studio Series Devastator ever done. Okay. So, obviously, not the most complex transformation, but it gets the job done, and I'm not going to complain. So this is the foot mode. As you can tell, you just take the vehicle, you pull the bucket up, you untab this, you flip it down, you tab it back in, and there you go. This is what it looks like from the front, the side, and le back. Top, bottom, foot, and right here, ankle. So this will be what the ankle joint looks like for Devastator. And another thing to add is that you can see right here, this is untabbed on me. Something that I did want to show off is that you take this right here, and this is specifically for combined mode. You take this right here, and you snap it down to where, if you put pressure on it, the foot will not come apart. I love the fact they added that, because I remember people talking about the CW Devastator and saying that the foot would spread open, but that is completely avoided on this copy, which I think is really, really cool. As long as you don't manhandle it, you can get some really cool poses. And like I said, this is a very tight ankle joint, and now we can actually see why they can't fit a waist swivel in. It's because when you do this, now this was he's basically upside down, you can see his chest right there. When you bend the ankle pivot, you can see this little piece of plastic that goes into the chest and comes out, just like that. This used to be where his upper body was. You can actually see it right there, that's where his head was. There's no way they could have fit a waist swivel in there and have kept such a tight ankle joint. So as I said, I'm willing to sacrifice the ankle. I'm willing to sacrifice the waist swivel for the ankle pivot, and one that will actually hold the weight. So now let's compare him to Perceptor. He gets a little bit shorter, but not too bad. And technically you do have some kind of weapon storage, because there's some pegs right here because of the transformation. We don't know how Devastator is going to combine yet, but yeah. Alright, well that's it for this review. I hope that y'all enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sorry that this was a little bit of a longer one. I definitely gotta get back into recording videos. Just God bless y'all. Generally, the Lord is so good, and I'm gonna take this as a moment to just praise God, because I feel like my life has slowly been turning into that. Sitting down here, being able to play with toys, and just take these little moments to honor God. It's really a great blessing to be able to honor God in everything we do. Basically, Jesus is good. I'm glad that y'all could click on this video and I hope that y'all enjoyed it. As I said before, this is not a channel where I will ever be professional, nor a channel where I will ever be on time. But one thing for certain is that I'm always going to serve Jesus in it, and we're going to be people that are trying to be kids still. That's basically what we're doing here. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.